everyone, Dr. Beth Westy here, women's health and hormone expert. We're going to talk about methylation today and specifically MTHFR. Now, these are genetic SNPs that we can look at, test for, dive into to see how your body genetically methylates. Now, before I dive in, again, one of the things that I always talk about, and I've done a longer podcast on this where I go into more depth on all this information. So please check that out if you want to deep dive more and more info. Just because you have these genetic mutations does not mean that you are for sure going to have an issue with this. One of our goals is to figure out, is this a possibility for you? And then with Dutch testing, with genetic testing, we get all this information of, do you have this potential? And then how is your body doing with it in a Dutch test to support you properly, right? I'm going to talk about this too from a personal standpoint because I did my genetic testing and I have methylation genetic issues, and I talk about this more in the podcast, so you can get that info there. But it really has helped me understand more about how to support my system on a daily level, like how I process certain medications, or like if I go to the dentist and they have to do they redid a cavity for me, and like the anesthesia, how that processes through my system. It's really helpful to understand. It's also helpful for me to understand how I process hormones differently as well. So methylation overall, what is methylation? Why is this important, right? Do we care about methylation? Yes, we do, especially if you have hormonal issues, right? We're going to deep dive into this. So MTHFR is a genetic SNP that has two different variants to it, right? So most people are familiar with the 677 or the 1298. When you get tested genetically, they will test for both of those to see if you're heterozygous, homozygous, and we also want to test for if this is a helpful or a hindrance for you. Some people, this is a helpful genetic code for them. For some people, it's a hindrance. So to understand if it is a hindrance, how much of a hindrance being heterozygous or homozygous with it, meaning do you have two of it or one, right? And I'm not going to get into the genetics of it. Genetics was one of my favorite classes. So I'm going to hold back on getting too nerdy with it for you, but just to know, okay, if I have this, how bad is it for me? That's essentially what we want to find out, right? Now, here's the thing. A lot of people know about MTHFR, or that's like the buzzword, or, oh, I have MTHFR. I got genetically tested. I have MTHFR. My next question for many people is, okay, did they test any other methylation things? What do you mean? Well, you have way more. And I just listed off a few of them. There's way more. When we do genetic testing, my favorite is 3x4 genetics. And you can learn more about that below this video. Click the link, learn about genetic testing, how we support that, how we help you learn more about how your body functions and how to support it. We test all the things. We test everything related to methylation for you because it matters. Here's why. Because it's very, very rare that you would just have MTHFR and not have anything else. And not have any other. Like super rare. Like if you have that, go get a lottery ticket because it's so rare that you would just have MTHFR and not have any of the other methylation issues. So let's talk real quick about what they are, what they do, and everything else. So MTHFR, this is the most common one here that we're looking at. MTHFR converts folate to methylfolate. It is the key methyl donor. So this is involved. I've underlined this here in red, and now I'm realizing the pink isn't showing very well. Let me change colors here. We're going to do this. Oh, sorry, my markers are, I need new markers. This is not good. I'm not pleased with this either, but I'm going to point to it so hopefully you can follow along. The folate pathway, MTHFR. That has to do with MTHFR. It also has to do with MTRR and MTR. If it sounds like I'm making these up, I'm not. These are things. We're going to talk about them, okay? But those are all related in the methylation process, right? So if you are not methylating, converting folate to methylfolate, oftentimes you have to supplement with a methylfolate so that you can get that in, but it will impact You'll just have overall methylation issues, more fatigue, mood swings, things like that are related to that, and energy overall. Like you have a hard time getting enough energy throughout the day on a regular basis with this, right? With the MTHFR in general, right? And that I'm not signifying either one because it relates to both of these. Now, how common is this? How common is this? That's what I put in the percentages. This is the more common one, the 1298. 30 to 50% of the population will have this. It is more rare to have the 677 though, 10 to 15% of the population. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. And does it matter? Is one worse than the other? Not necessarily, but just understand if you're homozygous for this and everything else, it's going to be, again, we'll say worse for you. Okay. COMT, this is part of that methylation output. So it uses SAMe to break down dopamine, estrogens, and stress hormones. So if you aren't doing this very well, you're going to have mood issues. You're going to have a problem detoxing estrogens, which create more estrogen dominance in your system. You're going to have more neurological imbalances. Now, you can have this be slow or fast, which is both a problem. Anxiety and irritability with it being slow. Fast, you can have low dopamine, focus issues, things like that. This is something that we see exactly on the Dutch test. This is why I love Dutch. 40 to 60% of the population can have this. Yes, and oftentimes, again, this is, can you have MTHFR and COMT? Yeah. Double whammy. Right? Okay. MTRR is both part of the folate pathway and B12 metabolism overall. That's really important. MTRR, it essentially kind of traps B12, so you have poor methylation even if you're intaking a good amount of it, because this is supposed to help regenerate, right? Regenerate and activate that B12 for you. So it keeps the B12 active. So this is for somebody who's like, okay, and I have MTHFR, I'm not processing well. Oh my gosh, I have MTRR too, so I'm trying to get it in, but it's getting trapped and I can't reuse it, and I'm not functioning well with it. I'm taking good supplements, I'm taking all these things, I still don't feel like I'm methylating well. Boom, there it is. If you also want more information on methylation in general, right? Because methylation is a piece of everything. Again, I explain this more in my other podcast, so please check that out. And then the last one here, I grouped these kind of together, but the PEMT, TCN2, and MTR. So again, the MTR, that's folate pathway and B12 metabolism. TCN2 is just part of that B12 metabolism. But the PEMT, that's again, that methylation output. Now the PEMT, this is something I often see as well with hormonal issues. Why? Because it's related to the methylation drain, and it can create issues with liver detox, bile flow, and everything else. So oftentimes people will have fatty liver or like non-alcoholic fatty liver issues. Oh my gosh, how did I get that? I don't drink that much. I don't, whatever. You can have this genetic code. Yeah. And again, super common. I didn't even put a percentage here because it's super common to have that combined with this. Like I'm going to say 90% of the time with MTHFR, right? Sorry, so COMT is 40 to 60%, MTRR, 20 to 50% of the population. Again, so you can have a variant combination of these things, right? Not just one or the other, but you can have a combination of these things where you're like, oh, what's mine, right? And there's still more than this, but this is what we examine when we work with people. We want to make sure that we're deep diving into everything for you, understanding more about how your system works and functions, and then really piecing things apart to say, okay, have you had mood swings? Is it impacting your hormones? What about your energy output? And what things are you taking to support this? And are you taking enough? Are you taking the right things? And is this a problem with how your body is processing and functioning? We're going to help support that, right? Because when we talk about the genetic things, it's not that you did anything wrong. These are just the cards that you're dealt. So we want to make sure we're playing this hand really, really well. That's what we want to do. So this is just the beginning of it. Again, this is a really quick snippet. If you want me to deep dive more, please let me know. Like leave me a comment, say, hey, do more on this. This makes sense, or I want to understand this more. Make sure you check out that other podcast I have as well, that I deep dive into more specifics on each of these things. And again, the best place to start, if you're like, holy crap, I felt like I've struggled for such a long time. I've done this, that, and the other. I've done all these things. Get a genetic test. start learning how to do more with your specific system. And the beautiful thing about getting a genetic test is that you only need one ever. My favorite is the 3x4 because it gives you such a complete view of your entire genetic profile. It lays everything out beautifully. It's really easy to understand. It's not complicated. So if you want even a sample sent to you, I'll send you a sample of the test. Just let me know. Like, send me an email. I'll send you a sample of the test so that you can deep dive into this and understand really what you're getting and how much of a value add it is. Without fail, the number one thing that I hear when I go through a genetic report with people is they say, I wish I would have done this 10 years ago. I wish I would have known this or that. And then without fail, it is also the most common test that women will order for their families, for their husband, for their children, for their sisters and family members, saying, oh my gosh, this is something that has changed the way I understand my body, my health, and that it changes how I move forward with making supplement, exercise, lifestyle shifts that are just going to be benefiting me overall. It's really beautiful. It's really, really wonderful. So go below this video. Please let me know if you need more info. I'm more than happy to do it, but I just wanted to do a quick snippet here to help you understand methylation process overall. There's so much more involved. It's more than just MTHFR, and understanding specifics can really help us deep dive in to support you where you need. So thank you for tuning in. Let me know if you need anything else, and I'll check you guys later.